welcome to Last Call with Jamie and Christian. Our special guest today, Will Hardy, the head coach for the Utah Jazz. Will, how are you doing today?
What's going on, Jamie? Everything's cool, man. Week till training camp, so we're ready to go out here.
I love it. I know you, so I know you're dying to get after it. I want to talk a little bit of just about Utah and why you chose Utah, a place to start your head coaching journey.
I mean, first of all, I think it really comes down to just the organization as a whole, the leadership, um, an opportunity to work with Ryan Smith, Danny Ainge, Justin Anik, Dwayne Wade. Like when those are the people that you're working with every single day, the varied experiences that they all have, the type of people that they are. I mean, that's a dream scenario for any coach, much less a first time head coach.
Yeah, it's neat to have a chance for you to be able to work with that. What do you think about the fans of Utah, the environment when you coming in there as a visitor? What were your impressions of that?
Yeah, I mean, I've said before, like my biggest memory playing here as a visitor is the noise. Incredibly loud arena. The setup of the arena, it's pretty vertical. Like the fans feel like they're right on top of you, which as a visiting team is not very fun. We very clearly have one of the best fan bases in the NBA. Statewide, region wide. It's it's fun. Even just walking around Salt Lake these first 2 months being here, the support of the fans, the way they talk about the team. It's really clear that we have a lot of people behind us.
Yeah, it's always one of these places as a person who loves basketball, you're always really intrigued with because when you watch the games, it seems like such an electric fan base. Having a chance to move your family there, you obviously feel that every single day. That's got to be so much fun to be a part of.
Yeah, no doubt. It's a great place from a basketball standpoint. It's a great place from a family standpoint. My wife and I, we have two little girls, so the family aspect is really important to us too. Our first couple of months here as a family have been amazing. Like I said, it's a great place to have a young family. It's an easy place to live. People are really, really kind, and yeah, man, just it's exciting all the way around. This last week is going to feel like an eternity before we start training camp.
Yeah. What were some things, you get the job opportunity. What was your first 48 hours like when you really woke up and you realized I'm the head coach of the Utah Jazz?
Yeah, it took a few minutes each day when you wake up, kind of remember that's actually happening. I think the biggest thing that stood out was, I was waking up to hundreds of text messages every day. Um, a lot of positive messages from people along the way. Like I know that I'm not that old, but there's just so many people in your life and your basketball journey that were there along the way, and to get all those messages, people congratulating you and wishing you good luck. That was really important to me. Like, there have been so many people that have helped me along the way, uh, personally, professionally, people that coached me when I was playing. It's been crazy to kind of see all the dominoes that fell in the right direction throughout my life to kind of be able to give me this opportunity. It's really surreal.
Yeah, when you get the head coaching opportunity, like you're mentioning, it's such a humbling experience because you're sort of working in one direction, and then you kind of get to a vantage point where you like, wow, there are a lot of people that are rooting for me along the way.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, the outpouring of support has been amazing. Not just for me, but for my wife and our family. It's obviously a big move for her too. Our life has changed in a couple, massive ways the last 2 months, and she's taken it all in stride and has been incredibly supportive as she has been, our entire time together. You know, she we first started dating. I was an intern in the video room, so um, a lot's changed since.
Well, we're going to talk a little about the video room, but yeah, I know this year there's going to be so much talk about your age. But knowing you, the way that I've known you through the years, I think you have so many experiences that have shaped you to be really successful in these moments. Can we talk a little bit about just Williams College and, being a small college guy, how that helped you kind of be prepared for this opportunity?
Yeah, I mean, going to a small school, playing Division III basketball is definitely a unique experience. The community is so close knit because there aren't a lot of people, at the school, right? Like the school I went to was a small school, and it wasn't like I was going to a giant state school. It really it kept the environment very intimate. Um, that being said, like I'm not sure that it's because I went to a small school that has helped me be prepared. I think at small school that I was at, I was just surrounded by a lot of really good people. Um, some great coaches, some great professors, some great friends and teammates, and all those people have kind of helped shape who I am. Growing up in Richmond, Virginia, going to the same school my entire upbringing, and then kind of around the same group of people, and then going to Williams College where I knew nobody. Like that experience really helped change me and who I am. The ages between 18 and 22 are just massive for growth for a lot of people. So, I credit like the Williams College experience. I'm not sure that it's because it's Division III or because it's a small school. I think for me, I can only speak to the fact that, you know, that school in particular has a really, really unique environment that ended up being a great fit for me.
Yeah, it's been great to watch because when you look at the NBA, it's like littered with Northeast college basketball players. And I don't know if our base will know because we have a really strong fan base from that area, but just how good the basketball is, how good the coaching is, how high level the people are. And so it directly correlates with those having that opportunity in the NBA or other fields and having a lot of success.
Yeah, it's you know, small college basketball in the Northeast definitely is a passionate group. There is a lot of good basketball, and especially in the NESCAC, the conference I played in. Um, again, very lucky to have been a part of that. There's so many good players. Obviously Duncan Robinson gets a lot of publicity for going to Williams College. I told Duncan I think that was just an error in recruiting. Um, he was clearly too good to be there. Um, but yeah, the Northeast small college basketball thing is great, and there's other Division III conferences throughout the country um, that have a really really strong following. Wisconsin has great Division III college basketball. California has good Division III college basketball. Like it's cool, man. Like again, I just feel lucky to have been a part of it, and the people now that I bump into that either I played with or played against or went to schools in our conference. It's cool to kind of see that pride carry over into life after college.
Yeah, the game of basketball right now is growing so fast and it's so talented all over. So it's been great as a former college coach to be able to have a chance to watch that and watch it kind of spill into all forms of basketball. Um,
Yeah, I
co-
mean, go
um,
ahead.
yeah, I was gonna say like you go from Williams, you get a chance to transition to the Spurs video room. What's that magic pixie dust in that Spurs video room that has allowed so many to make the progression they've been able to make?
Yeah, I mean, it's I've said this before. I think to some people, there's a lot of things that go into it. I mean, number one, we had the ability to work for a coach who had job security. Um, the success of the team really propped all of us up, and it allowed you to really dig in and be a part of the program there because the program wasn't changing. It lets you learn the program at a really, really deep level, and that's because of Pop and RC, and maybe more importantly, it's because of Tim, Tony, Manu, and all the players. I mean, we were spoiled, man. We won a lot, and that gave us all the ability to, again, really dig in and learn. And then, people leaving the Spurs, they were able to leave for good jobs and jobs they wanted. Um, so again, all of us benefited from the winning. We benefited from Tim, Tony, and Manu. We benefited from the program that Pop and RC put together, and then it was on all of us to continue to uphold that program every day. Not to mention the fact that the coaches that have been in that program, not just Pop as the head coach, but all the assistants, to feel like you had real intimate, personal relationships with all of those assistants as well, and getting to learn from all of them is just crazy. Like when you start naming them all, it's kind of a who's who of basketball coaches. Um, just in my time there was obviously Coach Pop and Mike Budenholzer, Brett Brown, Jock Vaughn, Ettore Messina, Ime Udoka, Jim Boylan, James Borrego, Chip England and Chad Forcier, who did so much for us in the video room. They taught us so much on the floor from a development standpoint. Jock Vaughn, like I could it goes on and on. Sean Marks, like it goes on and on. The people that you're around every day, it's really crazy. And I learned just as much from all of those assistants that took their time to teach us in the video room, as Pop. Um, it's a really special place, man. And thank you to Tim, Tony, and Manu for winning so much.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what's that? You're indoctrinated into this family, and you have such great veteran leadership. You have, your head coach has great job stability. What are a couple of things that you learn right away when you walk in that building?
I think every day you understand that it's not about you. Um, we use the term you got to get over yourself. It's about the group. There's a competitive standard every day there that you can feel in the way that we trained, the way that we played, the way that Pop coached. Um, and then lastly, and probably most importantly, that it's about the people. It's it's about more than just the technical basketball part. It's about the people and about how it feels every day. And Pop and RC, their leadership on that every day was amazing. Like what they did for you and your families to make you feel a part of it is really, really special.
And just, obviously everything in the last 20, 25 years has been so much about the Spurs and their culture, their way of life. Additionally, you had an opportunity to work with some USA basketball some.
Hmm.
What a unique experience that is. The most talented players in the world, all working towards one common goal. Just share a couple experiences from that for you.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, just the people that you're around, the players, the coaches, again, the leadership of USA basketball with Jerry Colangelo and Sean Ford. Like it was for me, that's once in a lifetime stuff, man. To be in those meeting rooms and be at the practices and the games, with Team USA at the Olympics is something I'll always value. I think from a coaching standpoint, it really challenges you to determine what's most important because you don't have a lot of time. Sometimes as coaches, the worst thing we can have is infinite time because we can go all over the place and we can come up with 100 things we need to go over as a team. And um, I think that experience again, like it challenged the staff every day to go, we don't have unlimited practice time before these games. The games are coming fast. The team, the players know each other, but don't necessarily know how to play together yet. And so it was just fun to be in those coaches meetings and, you know, be a part of the group trying to distill it all down to, hey, here are the 2 or 3 things that we think are most important right now. Yes, everything's important. Yes, all 20 of these things could be issues, but these 2 or 3 are what we want to focus on. I think as a coach, like that was a really great thing to learn that you can distill it down to 2 or 3 things and still be successful.
Yeah. How much collaboration, right? You have so many players coming from really, really great coaches kind of coming into the space. You got great coaches sharing the same space. Was there much collaboration, much conversation? I mean, watching it, it seems like you guys collaborate a ton together as a unit, but just really curious, how were you guys able to collaborate much with game planning and building things out?
Mhm. Definitely. Definitely. I mean, the coaches' meetings are very collaborative, obviously, and then when you get on the floor with the team, they had input too, walkthroughs and practices. Some things we didn't necessarily always have the definitive answer for. It was, "What are you guys most comfortable with in this situation between these 2 options?" Right? Again, when you know the players, you've coached against them, you think you know them as a player, but you've never actually coached them before. Um, there's a lot of back and forth that has to go on for everybody to get on the same page, for sure.
Yeah. Well, what would you say? I mean, you've coached obviously USA basketball, aforementioned USA basketball, a ton of All NBA players. What do you think these guys have in common, um, that allow them to be, besides just their talent? What are the other components these guys have in common?
I think all the best players that I've been around are really self-motivated. They don't need to be told to work. They don't need to be told how to work either. They're very self-motivated and they have a lot of autonomy in like how they think about themselves and their game. They're kind of sitting there waiting for you to tell them everything. Um, and the second part I think is your ability to be present, competitive, whatever word you want to use every single day. The NBA, 82 games, it's a long season, and it's hard to get up for every game, and it's hard to get up for every training session, practice, individual workout, lift, recovery, treatment. And the best guys that I've been around, they find a way to, maintain some balance in their life. So when it's time to do the basketball part, like they're able to go 100% every day. That's hard. It's really hard. I don't think people understand how tough that aspect of the NBA is. That it's not always as glamorous as people think it is. 82 games is a lot, and the travel is a lot. Um, the ability to manage that is special.
Yeah, we always throw that number around 82 games. But if you go deep in the playoffs, it's
Mhm.
it's much more like 100 games,
Yep.
right? And so when you look at some key veterans that have been in a long time, they've played all these extra seasons because of their playoff success. One of those guys you had a chance to work with in San Antonio and then a chance in Boston was Ime. Um, what was that experience like in Boston with a guy who you're really close with, and you all really finding a way to surge really late in the year last year?
It was a really great experience from the standpoint of I got to see a first-time head coach go through a season. I got to be with, obviously, Ime, who I have a great relationship with, to be with him and our staff as we went through training camp, as we went through the early parts of the year. Having been with Pop in San Antonio for 11 years, it's different, right? Like, the program is already running, so to speak, and with Ime, it was we had to sort of start from ground zero. So that experience was great, and then the season, it taught all of us that things can change in a short amount of time, and it's never as bad as it feels. I think early in the year, we had a lot of injuries and COVID and a lot of different factors that every team may go through during the season. Our tough moment happened to be the beginning of the year, and everybody stuck with it. Nobody pointed fingers. Everybody took their little piece of responsibility, and then we got some good health, and our team started playing well, and then the belief grew, and we sort of took off from there. But I think we're all at times emotional about the results and quick to, stamp a team as good or bad or stamp a season. This season's over, and for us, everybody's kind of kept going, and then next thing you know, we took off. It's pretty crazy to watch the range of reactions to our team last year in Boston over the course of one season. The things people were saying about the team 40 games into the year, and then the things people were saying about the team at the end of the year. I would say that's about as wide a spectrum as you're going to get in one season.
Yeah, the fan reaction often to the transitions. Oftentimes you think you plug in this quarterback or you plug in this point guard or this coach, and it just all changes at a whim. But there's an adjustment period for everybody.
Right.
Watching as a fan, I thought the magic of the accountability and how the accountability was able to grow so directly last year was really special.
Yeah, and that's everybody. That's Ime and it's the players too. They were able to take the coaching well and understand it was never personal. They were able to create great team accountability amongst themselves. It was especially the last half of the year, I thought our group was great at communicating amongst themselves and holding each other accountable. And, that only added to the environment.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to watch. Well, we look forward to watching you as the head coach of Utah Jazz. We do this thing on last call where it's the end of the night or early in the night, depending on where you are in the world. But you got a person to the left of you who's retired, and you got a person to the right of you who's still actively working. What two people would you have beside you at the end of the night?
Oh, man. One's retired and one's still working.
Yes.
They have to be basketball people.
Can be anybody.
Can be anybody.
Yes.
That's tough. I'll put my mom on one side and I'll put my wife on the other side.
Why your mom and why your wife?
I mean, probably the two most important people in my life, for a lot of reasons. Yeah, I'll just say that.
I love it. Well, Coach Hardy, we appreciate your time. Looking forward to you having a ton of success there in Utah. And you always got friends here at Speakeasy for Sport.
Appreciate it, man.